What up, y'all? It's the Real Ball Watcher. Grab your binoculars. We back, fresh off the G-Ho break. As my haters would say, we here to watch more balls. You know the vibe. And today we gonna cover that boy, the California Cayman. I don't even know if you're from Cali. We gonna say it anyway. If you from Orangeburg, stand up. You know this song. We don't dance no more. All we do is Troy. We don't dance no more. All we do is Troy. Come on, Troy Franklin. Let's hop into it right now. All we do is Roy. All right, so this series right here gonna be called our MSCs, our mid-season evals. So we just gonna look at a couple college players that's lining up, or mostly for Panthers fans around our draft positioning that we could possibly get. And I'll do other players regardless of position or regardless of draft position. But we're going to start with, players that's in position for the Panthers draft. So mid-season evals, basically, I'm going to take all the all-22 I got from them this year and last year, watch that, evaluate it, write my own player evaluation before we get any of the combine stuff, and give y'all their strengths, weaknesses, or what's not his game instead of weaknesses, their accolades, stats, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and hop into Troy Franklin right now. Troy. So when you look at Troy Franklin, the boy himself, he's a taller guy. He's a tall, slender guy. Let me pull up his height and weight. Troy Franklin is listed at 6'3", 187 pounds. So he a tall, slender guy, long arm span. But last year he won AP All Pac-12 second team, coaches All Pac-12 second team, PFF All Pac-12 second team, and Phil, whatever bro's name is, All Pac-12 second team. So straight second team All Pac-12 honors. His first year, true freshman year, his stats was played 14 games, had 18 catches, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 tutties. Last year's stats, he played in 13 games. He has 61 catches, 891 yards, and 9 tutties. And already this year, so far, skis, he has played in only 10 games, but he has 60 catches, 1,095 yards, and 11 tutties. He really, as you can see, he's improved every single year. He's really bumping it up. He's really getting active. He's really outside. And that's why we don't hit the Superman no more. All we do is Roy. Now, next thing, let's look at his strengths and weaknesses. This is where we're going to start pulling up all 22 clips, stuff like that. One of the first things that I noticed when watching Troy Franklin, especially, as we see, he's a deep threat, but we'll get into his player card or his my player builder at the end of the video. But he has quick feet. He has quick feet off the line, and he can win at the line of scrimmage with quick footwork. He kind of gets straight into it. He doesn't do a whole bunch of dancing, even though he has a tendency to do that sometimes. But against press, he doesn't do a lot of dancing. He really gives you one fake, go, because he's so fast. So he gets up out of there quick. He wins with quick footwork, almost like a Jamar Chase. That's not my comparison. He's not Jamar Chase. But Jamar Chase wins at the line of scrimmage the same way. Quick footwork, boom, get out of there. He plays in the blind spots of DBs. He's really started showing that more this year, where he can kind of go into, let's say, scramble mode. He'll play into the blind spot, move a guy this way, or if he's in zone, he'll play into the blind spot, cut it off, or bring it back this way, or play into the blind spot and then cut it off and break off deep. That helps him in the deep passing game and against off coverage in zones. But when somebody is playing off on him, because he's so fast, he sees a lot of off coverage, and we'll talk about that in a second. But because he's so fast, he sees a lot of off coverage, and the good thing about that is he gets on DB's toes quick. So he runs, threatens you by getting right up on your toes and then breaking it off. So you kind of have a decision. You can either sit on the route and get burnt deep, because he's probably a 4.3 guy. We'll have to see when he runs the combine, but he's at least around 4.3, low 4.4s. So you can either sit on the coverage, get burnt deep, or you can get threatened deep, kind of back off a little bit. Now he breaks it off into a dig, and that's an easy 15 yards, maybe even more, since he got so much speed with a couple of the clips we got. Let's go ahead and roll the USC one. Hey! He was getting up out of there. Anyways, as we were saying, he's fast in and out of his breaks. One of the things that I seen against when I was watching his Georgia film last year, when he was up against Keely Ringo, I really liked how fast he was getting in and out of his breaks. And I have a clip for it up here, and I'll play it, of course. But I really like how fast he gets in and out of his breaks. I want to say he's just as fast in and out of his breaks when it comes to breaking into a dig, breaking into an out, breaking into a post. He's just as fast as he is running straight. Now, he can improve a little bit on his speed breaking down or doing stopping routes, but I don't know if you really want him to be a stopping static route guy, because he's so fast that he doesn't really have to be so refined in that. As long as he can threaten with speed, he can come back down, he'll be open on those. But he is really fast in and out of his breaks, and that's a sign of a good route runner and a crafty route runner, which he is. He sees, like I said before, he sees a lot of off coverage because of speed. Even in the Georgia game, that's an SEC defense. They're playing off coverage. They got Keely Ringo on off. They're not really pressing Keely Ringo. He got pressed sometimes, of course, but they're playing him off because he has the speed to threaten deep. And the last point I got for his strengths It's a couple other ones, but last point I got for his strengths that I wanted to highlight was he's just as fast against all competition. Sometimes we see guys, they look fast against their division, they're playing in D2, things like that. It doesn't matter. When he was playing against Georgia, like I said, they respected his speed, and they had some fast guys on that offense. For instance, Keely Ringo. When he played against Texas Tech, you saw his speed. When he played against Utah, you saw his speed. Everybody respects his speed, no matter who it is. When they played against UNC last year, you saw his speed. Everybody respects his speed, and his speed is translatable to whatever level he's on. And also, one thing I don't have highlighted on this bullet point, as I have up on the screen, y'all see, he has really strong hands. And he has a decent catch rate, or a really good catch rate, I guess I should say. Sometimes he can catch it with his bodies on those digs over across the middle. I think that's more of a protecting himself thing. But you can see in the Georgia clip I'm gonna show, he can reach out and extend and grab a ball, tightrope the sideline. He can get a couple contested catches, as I'll show with a catch against, I want to say, what was it last year, UCLA. He has that ability to really haul catches in and use strong hands on slants, on digs, on deep balls if he has to. If it's a jump ball, he can go get it. He's 6'3". He's not afraid of it. I mean, that's not necessarily his game that you want him to run because he's so fast he's going to get away from everybody. But he has the ability to hold on to the ball, fight through hits, fight through somebody trying to break the ball up. He has really strong hands, and that's really good for a receiver. And like I said before, he's a crafty route runner. He, of course, has to improve. But from what I've seen, he's really good with his footwork. He's really good in and out of his breaks. He's really quick at the line against press. He uses his hands to swipe hands away. And with somebody that fast, if you can't get hands on him, you're in trouble. So that's a really good thing about him. And yeah, that's all I really got for his strengths. I mean, I hope that's enough for y'all to kind of get the gist of who he is. But we're going to get into the things that's not his game. Now let's jump into the things that's not his game. What I will say, first thing I noticed immediately, I seen Oregon trying to use him on a lot of screens, on a lot of jet sweeps, drags, things like that. Drags is fine, but he's not creative after the catch. Now, he has enough speed, like I seen in that USC clip that I'll play. He has enough speed that he can threaten and get vertical and outrun guys, get an angle on guys, outrun them to the point that he's trying to get to. But he's not some crafty, make a couple guys miss, really elusive, really bouncing off of tacklers. That's not the guy he is. He's not some super yak threat. Now, of course, once he gets behind you in the defense, he's going to have to run the catch. Of course, on that dig, when it's a lot of space between him and the defender, he just got to outrun him to a point. He's going to be able to do that. But when it comes to making a move, making guys miss, staying up, bouncing off of contact, he's not that guy. But that's okay. He doesn't have to be. Sometimes he does too much on routes, and that affects the timing of routes. Sometimes I noticed last year he danced a lot. I don't know if I have a clip or two of it, but I probably do. He danced a lot, and it kind of affected the timings of route. If you Panthers fans, we've been watching the QB school. He talked about all the time when we're running these routes with Adam Thielen. I know it's a beef we got going on, but I don't know. I ain't in it. But we talked about Adam Thielen where he's running these good routes. Yeah, the routes is good, but when you look at Bryce, he has a clock. He has to get to his backdrop. He has to get to his next read. And if you're not at the point that you need to be in when he's in that read, he's going to move off you. So dancing too much in a route can affect your timing and kind of get you misses and overthrows, things like that. He also lacks ideal size. Like I said, he's 187. He's a slender guy. Because he's so good swiping hands away and getting quick off the line, he can overcome that. But I would like to see him add on a little bit more muscle without affecting his speed. And I feel like he'll do that with the NFL's weight regimen, things like that. He can get rerouted. I'm sorry if I'm talking crazy. He can get rerouted if you get hands on him. If you get a stronger corner and they get up in the press and he can't swipe their hands away, or he can't beat them immediately off the line, they get hands on him, he can get rerouted and kind of pushed off his route. It wasn't a huge negative that I've seen where it's all the time like, oh wow, he's just getting pushed around, but it can happen. And some guys have pulled up clips, guys like Quentin Johnston this year getting rerouted, pushed out of bounds on the route, things like that, getting taken out to play. It wasn't of that magnitude, but with stronger NFL corners who's just as fast as him, I could see if he doesn't get a little more play strength at the point of attack of a route, or put on a little more weight, or he can't consistently just beat them with his speed and hand swipes, he could maybe get pushed off a route and things like that. And the last real negative I have on him is he's up and down when it comes to run blocking. I got good clips I'll play. I got good clips of him being play side, cracking down, or him being on the screen and blocking down for him, and he looks good. But there's other ones where he just whiffs completely on a block. He's putting his head straight down and just missing everybody. He's getting moved around. He's getting pushed back into the push back into the ball carrier, things like that. So he's not a negative, like complete, he can't run block at all because he's so skinny. Because he is okay when he applies a lot of effort to it and really locks in on it. So I don't think that it's so bad to where, hey, we're going to have to take him off the field. But in spurts, you can get good run blocking reps from him, and you can get really bad ones. But that's really all the negatives, or what I like to say, not his game. It's not really in his game, or not really what he does right now. That's all I really have for you. And now let's go ahead and get into this My Player Builder. Who is he? Shout out to 2K for giving me this idea with the with the My Player Builder. Do not sue me. Let's go ahead and put it up, man. So when you look at Troy Franklin, I have him as we built a vertical possession wide receiver, meaning he can threaten the defense deep with his speed. He can catch the ball. He has strong hands. He can win on a dig route. He can win in routes with his route running, but he's not much of a threat after the catch. Think of how Adam Thielen is, or how he was before when he had a lot more juice and a lot more speed. And for shades of, think of guys like Keenan Allen. That's like his high comp, the ceiling of where he can get to. DJ Chark, before all these injuries, he isn't as fast and doesn't separate like he used to. Think of what he was when he was in Jacksonville. Or Martavis Bryant, somebody who isn't as fast, but was a really good deep threat. Not really crazy after the catch as far as making guys miss, but he uses his speed to get deep. He's a bigger guy, bigger body guy, and those are the ways I see him winning in the NFL. I think he can improve his route runner to be even more crafty and even more successful in route running, and not necessarily winning with so much speed all the time. And I think his speed will translate to the NFL game, to where everybody's gonna have to respect his speed. If you can't get hands on him, you might be in a little bit of trouble if you don't have somebody that can run. If you don't have somebody over top, if you don't have somebody deep, you're not going to be able to cover him if you don't have somebody over top, because he can win one-on-one whether he beats you at the line of scrimmage or not. He's just simply that fast. That'll honestly help what the Panthers need, with DBs squatting on routes, them bringing the safeties down to 14 yards of depth, 13 yards of depth. That will actually extend the field of play. They're not playing half-court offense no more if we had somebody like this. So that's what I think of Troy Franklin. I do think he is still a second-round grade because of things like after-the-catch ability. I don't think he's some all-around, just do everything that you need, like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, where he can just do anything. So that's why I don't have a first-round grade on him as of now. But I think he is a early second-round player, and I think that would be somebody that could be a good mid-tier wide receiver 1 to high-end wide receiver 2 in the league. Like I said, think of a Keenan Allen. He was never like a premier elite Calvin Johnson, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. He was never one of those guys, but he was always around that 8 to 15 range. I could see, if everything works out for Troy Franklin, he gets to that. And I'm hoping that if he ends up on the Panthers, which I hope he does, I'm hoping he can hit his ceiling and maybe even exceed my expectations. But that's all I got right now. Like I said, we'll get more evals when I get more all-22 around, February, March, things like that, after the bowl games and stuff. And we'll do another updated eval, my final eval on Troy Franklin, and of the next guys we're going to do in this video. So I appreciate y'all for riding along. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope it was entertaining. Hope you guys learned what you needed to learn about Troy Franklin. And put your binoculars up, because we out. See you next week.